what's up everyone? Today we're going to go ahead and have a look at building a network from the ground up. And I'm going to show you how you do it in a Cisco router and switch. But because my network also runs off of Unifi, I'm going to show you how you do that in the Unifi router as well. So what is a network? Essentially a network is just a collection of devices and their ability to communicate with each other. So one device is connected to a switch, another device is connected to a switch, and Bob's your uncle. A router is used to take a group, basically think of it like a group of switches. They connect to a router, and then they can communicate to another router, which is connected to another group of switches. Very basic, oversimplified, but that's kind of the idea. All right. And then on your switch, you can actually carve a switch up into what are called broadcast domains. And the way you do that is set up VLANs. So then once you have VLANs set up, those interfaces don't communicate with other interfaces in different VLANs. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how we get that set up. All right, so right now I have Ethernet 2 on my PC disabled. Let's go ahead and first let me unidle my equipment here. So first let's do it all Cisco. The first thing you want to do is when you get your switch, you want to log in, get into global config mode, and then connect to the interface that your device is connected to. So in this case, it's interface G02. All right, now let's go ahead and assign it to a VLAN. By default, all Cisco switch interfaces are in access port. So you don't have to do the second command. I'm going to do it anyway because it's a habit. So we want to do switch port, access. Now we're going to specify what VLAN it's going to be in. I'm going to say 35. If that VLAN doesn't exist, it will create it. So access VLAN does not exist, creating. And then switch port, mode, access. Going forward, I'm just going to use the abbreviation. Does the same thing. Switch port, mode, access. All right, and there we go. Do show VLAN brief. And as we can see, port G02 is a member of VLAN 35. All right, but that in itself is not going to get us an internet connection, and it's not going to let us talk to other devices. It's also not going to give us the kind of isolation we're wanting because we connect to a router right now. And that router is going to do what it's supposed to do, route traffic. So let's go ahead and get it to do that. We need to send this VLAN over to a router. And I'm going to be using router on a stick topology. That's basically where one interface on a router handles DHCP for multiple VLANs. The way we transport there is while still in the switch, we go to interface G01, which is connecting to our router, switch port, trunk, allowed VLAN, and we're going to add 35. If it is not already a trunk, you would do switch port, mode, trunk. Don't need to do that. You can hit enter right now because I've already got it set up. So do show interface trunk. All right. So 35 is pruning right now. All right. Now we need to get into router 1. And that's over here. Oh, already signed me out. I love it. I thought the exact timeout was 50 minutes. Interface G01.35. Exit. All right. So on this router, let's see what DHCP pools we have set up. Do show run. We don't have to go too far. So here's our DHCP pools right here. By default, none of this will exist. You have to create this. I'm going to show you the lines you want to do. So IP DHCP pool, and we'll call this one lab 1.5. All right, now we're in DHCP config mode. We're going to say network 10.35.0.0 255.255.255.0. This specifies the network address, and this specifies the net mask, or the size of the network. We're done. Then we're going to specify the address of the default router, 10.35.0.1, and then DNS server 8.8.8.8. So when DHCP is handed out, it's going to hand out default router and the DNS server to any device connecting via DHCP. Minimally, this is what we need. So we're done here. Exit. Let's go ahead and reserve some ranges. IP DHCP pool DHCP excluded address rather. Let's do 10.35.0.1. And that's going to be the start of the range. 10.35.0.25. All right. With that command, IP address is 10.35.0.1 through 10.35.0.25 will be reserved. That means when devices start connecting to this network, these addresses will not be handed out. You will be able to reserve these for other devices that need static IP addresses. All right, let's go ahead and set up the interface. So we're going to go into G01.35. We're doing router on a stick, so we're going to do a subinterface. The subinterface is the interface itself, and then .35. And then you configure it like any other interface on a Cisco router. IP, actually we need to start with the encapsulation. Encapsulation, .1Q, and then the tag, 35. So this is how it's going to know what traffic to deal with for this pool of IPs. Then we do IP address 10.35.0.1, 255.255.255.0. And bingo. And it is up by default. And Bob's your uncle. All right, let's do a quick confirm here. Excellent. All right, that's trunking. Do show interface, do show VLAN brief. And then we just checked the trunk. Do show interface status. All right, nothing's connected yet. And that's because I've disabled my Ethernet adapter. Let's go ahead and enable that adapter. So when this connects and gets on the network, it's going to pull an address. Do terminal monitor. Do let's disable so we can watch the whole process. All right, enable. All right, so now it's going to run through the process. All right, so gig 02 is up. And now it's proceeding to identify the network. This can take a moment. Just wait, you'll be fine. Let me make sure I don't get signed out here. Unidentified network. Status. Network 3. Okay, it just resolved. So now we have the address we were going for, at 10.35.26. So off this adapter, we can get to the router, and I already have that router set to connect to the internet. Now, what if we wanted to do that over Unifi? Let's say you have a mixed vendor environment, which is common. A lot of people will do all their switching in Cisco, but then because they might like the user interface of Unifi, they'll use Unifi as their router. Something my church does. All right, let's go ahead and do that. All right, so from your dashboard in your Unifi network application, go to Settings, Network, and we're going to create a new virtual network. Name Lab 1.5. Let's not auto scale. We'll do 10.45.0.1. Okay, yeah. All right, so with Unifi, what you want to do is you want to set the host address for the sub interface that's going to handle this network. And then we're going to set the net mask to 24. That's the same as 255.255.255.0. All right. And then manual. Let's set this to 45. All right. And everything looks good here. This isn't going to last, so we'll go ahead and add it. And we're going to go through, let's go through my home switch, because why not? All right, so that's done. Let's go to ports, home, and then we just need to add lab 1.5 to the trunked ports and apply changes. So that means with Unifi, the native VLAN, the home network, is untagged, and it's going to be 5. It's also expecting tags from 50, 100, and 45. Think of it like that, what tags it's expecting and what it's not. Now, let's get back into our switch here. So what we need to do now is we need to send, let's go ahead and we're done with R1. Let's get into switch 1 here. Interface G02. Switch port, access, VLAN 45. All right, so it's going to lose connectivity now. If you just give it a second. So you're going to see network 3. I'll just disable it. And then if I enable it again, it's going to freak out. And that's going to fail. All right, so what we want to do is we want to trunk from this switch to the home switch. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to find another trunk port that's going from this switch to this one. Do show interface status. I always do this as kind of a sanity check. All right, so I have a port channel that's trunked, and it's going to switch 0, the home switch. So we'll go into PO1. Switch port, trunk, allowed, VLAN, add 45. That's all we need to do there. Do show interface status. Interface PO1. Do the same thing here. Switch port, trunk, allowed, VLAN, add 45. VLAN 45. Exit. Do show VLAN brief, make sure it appeared, there it is. And now we need to trunk it to the router. So do show interface status again. All right, so this is saying it's going to Unifi router, and that's the 101 interface. Interface G101. Switch port, trunk, allowed, VLAN, add 45. All right, so you may have picked up on something. I made the VLAN on this switch, even though it doesn't have any active hosts. The reason for that is the VLAN still has to exist on any switch over which the trunk connection goes over. So if I need to go from switch 1 to switch 0 to the router, the VLAN needs to exist on all switches along the path. All right. So now let's disable this. Enable. It's going to identify, set to up, and now it's got to go between these two switches, so that can take a moment. And there we go. Look at that. Details, 104550. Same thing. Oh, one thing I forgot to show, I'll go ahead and do it now. So anytime you set up a network, best practice is to set up some reserved addresses. So you probably want to change this. Let's see, where is that? Usable IP addresses. Here we go, DHCP range. So it's already reserved some addresses for me. That's fantastic. I like it being a little bigger, but that's just me. That's not going to affect my connectivity. But there you go. That's how you set up a network using both all Cisco and cross vendor between Cisco and Unifi. I sincerely hope that that's useful. I realize this is kind of a longer video, but it is what it is. It doesn't take much to do, but it is, I don't know, I think it's kind of fun. Anyway, hope this was enjoyable. Hope you learned something. Have a good one.